All right, so let's start with a basic comment on the Python Google Colab. So when you're writing a comment with most of the programming language, you either start, I think with some programming language, you start with the two dashes. Um, some others, you start with the hashtag. Over here is the same. So you start with this hashtag and you notice that once you start with the hashtag over here, the color is green. So let's just write a comment. This is a comment. It will not be executed as part of the code. So this is what a comment is. A comment is just a comment for yourself. I would like to explain what the code is about, so I would just write it in a comment, and this will not be part of the code. So it is used just for annotating the code. So that's it. If you are going to execute this, you can just press on this button, or you can just, as you can see, on you can run a cell or run a cell by Control and Enter. So I usually hold Shift Enter, in fact, but it seems like there also Control and Enter could run it. Yeah, that's right. But I also use Shift and Enter. I'm just it's easier for me because the Shift is right below the Enter button. But maybe with Apple you need the Command and Enter. Please try either one. Okay. So the first function with this programming language that we're going to talk about is the print function. And I'm not going to type print in capital because the print function, as you can see here, it is in small letters. So it is very sensitive, case sensitive, this programming language. So please be careful. So with the print here, you need to have the value, and then it prints the values that especially if it's a string. So here we're going to have a print, and once you open up one single bracket, the closing bracket will already be added. And then for you to add any string, if you add a string like hello world like this without any, as you can see, without any quotes, it will not be executed. It will prompt me an error. Let's try it. As you can see, there's a syntax error, invalid syntax. So over here it says that print hello world, there's a syntax error here. So what is a syntax error? A syntax error is either you have written, for example, a print in a capital rather than in a small, which is a built-in function. It's a built-in function, meaning it's a function that is already built in Python. And then here it's been executed. What if I used only single quote? Back when we used to use Python 2.0, we had to add double quotes. Then with Python 3, we had to only use single quotes, and that was really annoying because most of my code, for example, had double quotes, and then I upgraded to Python 3, and I had to change it all to single quotes. And if I don't, it won't work. So it wasn't really compatible for a little while. So now here with the Google Colab, it doesn't matter. If you have a single or double quote, it will still work. So this is the first thing that you need to take care of. A print function is a built-in function. A built-in function is a function that is already defined and knows what to do because it's already embedded into the Python code. And over here, any function will in fact have its arguments. The input of any function, we call them arguments. So the arguments or the input of any function, like a print function, will be enclosed into two brackets. And within these two brackets, you can enter numbers or string. A string is basically letters, and this is a string that we entered. We have to surround it or enclose it into double quote or single quote. All right. Second, What else I wanted to talk about here? Yeah, in fact, I also wanted to show you that you can do either one of them in a single quote or into a double quote. Let's say here that I would like to add a comment. Can I add a comment? Yes, I could. So you can say uh, 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 print a string with a single quotation, for example. And here you can just type in print a string with double quotation. Okay, so here it will work. All right, so now let's do numbers as well. So let's try. Please try typing anything here. Pause the video and try typing anything here in text and number. All right, maybe you started by saying, all right, I have 3 cats. How would it work? Let's see. I have 3 cats. It actually worked. So can I do it in such a way that I have 3 cats? Oh, yes, it's the same. Okay, would it work also if I have one in double quotes and one in single quotes? It won't look good because you don't sound very consistent, but I just wanted to show you that it doesn't really matter if you separate the number, you put it in within the string or. So here it's still printed the numbers. All right, let's move next. Next, I want to add a text here. And with that text, I'm going to just type in advanced printing. And with advanced printing, I'm going to put it as a bold, then I'm going to put it like that. So here we go. All right, let's get started. What happened here? Eh? And okay, you see, I had an unintended space there. So this is advanced printing. Let's get started with advanced printing. First, I would like to explain something with advanced printing. So I'm gonna add a text here for you. So let's type that together. I want to do advanced printing, but here I also would like to work with some functions. So if you want, you can add it as variables. I don't know why I put it as advanced printing. Let's put and variables. So we're going to introduce now the variables. Okay, let's get started. What is a variable with Python? So variables are nothing but containers for storing data values. Of course, I have set of slides, very rich set of slides here that I talk about. Here are some of the things that we've done. This is Shift Enter or Control Enter. And this is some of the things that I'm explaining. Most of it that I'm explaining today are in that set of slides. So here Python has no command for declaring variables like some other programming languages. So a variable is basically created the moment you first assign a value to it. What does that mean? How do you assign a value to any variable? You just call the variable, for example, x, and you say it's equal to a certain value. Either this value is a number or a string. Okay, let's have some little points to consider about variable names. So variable name must start with a letter, not a number, or the underscore character. Okay, second, it cannot start with a number. I'm just going to put it in a separate point so that you know that this is very important. A variable name, it can only contain alphanumeric characters and underscores. So it is A to Z, something like that, and also underscores, something like that. Okay. And also, so some of the questions might be, rewrite this. This is a wrong variable name and rewrite it correctly. So you need to get rid of all the things that makes it incorrect. Also, variable names in general are case sensitive. So they are all case sensitive. So for example, age is different than age is different than age. All right, these are three. Okay, let me write this here inside. I'm going to say these are three different variables. Okay, these are three different variables. Take some moment and type this on your notebook, and let's get started. All right. Create or declare a variable and assign a value 5 to it. Please do that. X equal 5. And if I run it, I will get no errors. Okay, go back to the same cell code and then declare variable y and assign the name or the string John to it. Take some time to do it. Okay. Y equals, even if you type it like that, this will also work, and John. Any mistakes? No. All right. Now go back again to the same cell and print X. Okay. Oh, sorry, I need to give you some time. Okay. You can also, of course, stop the video, pause it, and then come back. Print X, easy peasy. Okay. All right, please print Y. All right. Oh, print Y. All right, perfect. So you have 5 and you have John. All right, I want you now to declare variable I or create variable I and assign 4 to it. And declare variable f and assign the float number 1.4. So first, declare variable I, assign 4 to it, enter. So you have to start with a new line when you declare the second variable. And create a variable f and assign a float number. A float is a number with a decimal, 1.4. So this is a float. So this is integer, all right? And this is a float. A float means integer with decimals, okay? So now, why don't you try something? I would like to know the type of I in Python. So use a function, built-in function called type, and return, we usually say the function returns. So whatever this is, print Y or print X will return what? Will return X. Print Y will return Y, which is John. The value of Y actually. This is how I'm supposed to say it. That the function print X will return the value of X, either string or a numeric. Okay, so now for the type, there's a function called type, And this function, you just say type, return the type of I, and you get the integer because this is the type of I. All right, what if you want to give the type of f, and now the type of f is float? Please understand that the first type I has been gone, integer. The last function only will be executed, which is type f. So if you want to keep type here, if you want to keep I and then f, you can do that. Or let's try something. Would it work? If you do that, then it won't work. So it can only take one at a time. It will not work. So type takes one or three arguments. It will not just take that. So this is one of the things also that we are going to introduce in a bit, which is adding more arguments, but this one only takes one argument. So this is quite interesting. Okay, let's compare, for example, how would, for example, what would I do to get integer and float? I want to see both of them together. Why don't we do one thing? Why don't we use the print function here and then put type I, all right? And then execute this and see what happens. A class integer. And then do the same exact thing. You can copy, of course. So Control C and enter Control V. And over here you can type F instead of I. So let's see that. Here we go. So over here you have integer and here you have float. So in this case, if you use the nested print and then init inside it type, then you will be able to show all the types here easily. Okay, it's quite interesting. Okay, can we do something interesting? Probably not, probably yes. Let's see. Can we say type F and then say comma type I? In fact, this should work. Do you see? So class float, class integer. So this is also doable. I'm going to show you. Maybe I kind of skipped skipped some steps here, but I just wanted to show you how we can nest two different functions together, and some functions like type will only execute the last one. So here, this is the problem. Probably it's good to show that this is the situation here. Okay, and now we have the print type I, print type F will work. But if you want, you can just put them in one print function and it will execute it if you have the arguments separated here with a comma. Does that mean that I can print X and Y together in one function? Actually, you could. So if you go all the way up at the very first line and you type in here print, X, comma, Y, it will actually work. But look at the difference and compare the output of this. Please pause my video and do it on your own. You will find out that the output of print X is actually printed on the first line. Print Y, the value will be printed on the second line. But print XY is kind of going to be concatenated. So it's going to be 5 John. Do you see that? So there's little space between them and it's going to be 5 John. So this is quite interesting to you, isn't it? So here you can, a print function can take more than one argument. However, the type function takes only one. To overcome this, for example, situation, if you want to show all the types at once in one cell of code, you can just add the print function to it. You can do it like this in rows, or you can put it all in the same row. I like it neat like this, but it depends on the situation. Okay, quite interesting, isn't it? Yes. So now I would like to show you one other interesting thing about functions, and maybe it's going to be really good for you to practice. So now it's the practice time, all right? So practice with me. Or before we practice, let me just show you one. Why don't you practice on your own and come back to me in the next video? Practice on your own. I would like you to do the following. Assign, create 3 different variables, x, y, z, and assign an integer, whatever random integer that comes to your mind, to x. Assign a float, which is an integer with a decimal, to y, and assign a string, whatever string, your name, to z, your name. And then I would like you to print the different types of variables, as you can see here. You might think that this is super duper easy, but sometimes you might make little mistakes. So please make sure that you actually do it. Do what I say. And then, so let me write the question. So exercise. Create variables x, y, z, and assign an integer, a float, and a string to each one. A string, maybe we just say respectively, meaning x takes the integer, y takes the float, and z takes a string, and a string, that's your name. So your name is Nora, or whatever your name is, okay? And then first, print the variables using one print function. Return the variables types using one print function. This is it, and I'll see you in the next exercise.